Jay here from Gregory Property Agents. I have knocked off a little bit early tonight. Just wanted to check in with you on last night's council in Liverpool Council. This is what Ned Manoon said after the meeting last night.
Hi everyone, it's 11 o'clock. We just finished our council meeting. It's a long day. Sorry if I look tired. Just want to give you a few quick highlights of what happened.
Step back a
Number
bit.
one is we removed the developer contributions for anyone building a building in the city centre. We have cranes up at the moment, 3 of them. But
So that's talking about building. He wants to see more units being built in Liverpool. And, it was difficult when this came up in council meeting last night because Fiona McNaught bought it. She moved the motion, but Ned seemed to know an awful lot about it, right? So, and what Ned is saying is that we need to get more cranes in the sky in Liverpool and building more units. Now, what they did last night is they stopped developers from having to pay an amount of money if they develop these large scale units, residential buildings in the CBD. And the problem with that is that when you apply the discount to everybody, what happens is similar to what's happened as Parramatta is that the market's all about demand and supply. But as soon as it becomes profitable for a developer to do a deal in Liverpool, then everyone comes in at the same time because they're all doing the same calculations. And inevitably what happens is the supply increases exponentially because they all get finished at the same time and we get stuck. And we've been stuck like this before. It was about 18 years ago, I think, a similar sort of thing happened. And we really need to control the supply of units because what that will do is it will protect all of all the unit owners in Liverpool, so that when these 200-300 units are coming onto the market, it doesn't affect their price. So I'd encourage Liverpool Council to go back and look at changing this again. I don't think that this is the right solution for us. I understand why they've made the changes with PDO1, and I think that will slow development down. New residential estates out at Edmondson Park now, developers are going to have to go to a lot more expense when they subdivide this land, and that includes extra bank guarantees, which are expensive. Putting money on hold for a long time is expensive. They have to, the way that land, whatever public land they have to give back to the community, will be calculated a different way, which is a lot more expensive, a lot more favourable to ratepayers. Also the fact that, any parks, they also have to maintain them for 5 years or pay for the maintenance for 5 years for those parks. So it's going to be a lot more expensive to develop blocks of land in Edmondson Park and out that way in the future. I reckon it's going to add around about 50 to 60,000 to an average block. I think that's conservative. It might actually be a little bit more. And I think that will do it out there. I think by the time you take into account escalating construction costs on top of land costs going up, I think that what you'll find is that it will just stop development out there pretty much dead in its tracks. Whatever's been done already will get finished, but anything after that will just, I don't think there'll be much going on. So that might present a few other problems with, some developers finishing their block of land and developing and others haven't, but we'll just see how that goes. What else? Council meeting last night, Ned. What else did you get on to?
but they're actually not building any houses. If you want to make sure that rents are low, we need to make sure that the cranes are up high in the sky building the buildings.
Yeah, so I think that he's actually just agreeing with me in some respects. More supply means that prices for units might come down to rent in the CBD, which, again, that needs to be done very, very carefully. You can't just make these statements. You've really got to know what you're doing. I'd much prefer with the CBD, Ned, that when these developments happen, they happen in a controlled way that supplies the market gently, but helps protect prices. And I think that that might mean that ratepayers need to actually subsidise this a little bit more, but rather giving a blanket, one where if things improve economically, everyone's going to come in very quickly, and it could break a lot of stuff.
So we want to encourage that. Secondly, we are going out there and continuing our fight on 15th Avenue, making sure that it gets built once and built properly. And built once means having 6 lanes, 3 lanes each way.
Now, Ned did this very, very wisely last night. I don't know if you get a chance to go back and look at the council meeting, but he took full advantage of the CEO, Jason Britton, being away. I think he's away overseas or something. Someone told me I could hear him screaming from there. Trust me, I heard him because Peter Cicluna, look, good bloke, and he, in being a good bloke, unfortunately, Ned was able to take that narrative quite well and take full advantage. So, and good on him. And I think that through that, he actually did get some answers for the community, or certainly some more knowledge about 15th Avenue. And look, I don't know what the answer is, but what they've passed last night is $50,000 of our money, ratepayers' money, going towards advertising or getting the word out to ratepayers about 15th Avenue, how it should be 6 lanes instead of 4 and 70 kilometres an hour instead of 80, and these other things. So I just don't know how valuable that 50,000 really is to us ratepayers, Mr. Mayor. I think that really what needs to happen is you need to get some of the best experts together for a week and just decide which way the best way to go is based on traffic, based on what we need here. I know that a lot of people in the 2168 postcode who seem to miss out on everything, but there they would have they'd be really great that they had a high speed trans, be able to get backwards and forwards to the CBD, to doctors and dentists and whatever they need. Like, we've got to think about making things easier for everybody, and I think having that high density down Hoxton Park Road and that smart transit corridor sounds like it's the way to go, but I don't know. Like, there's a reason why Department of Transport want to make this 80 k's, and I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, and I don't think you really know what the answer is. But it's pointless keep having these arguments and now clip off 50,000. And by the way, Ned, if you're going to be clipping off 50,000 on 15th Avenue, how about you clip off 15,000 with this monstrosity over in the old Glenfield tip site that they're talking about turning into warehousing? I mean, hardly anyone knows about that. And you're spending 50 grand on this side. What are you doing to let the people know on that side about the 24/7 industrial 280,000 square metre site that is right? It's right on our doorstep. It's going to 24/7. They're going to be using that place. Trucks. I mean, traffic. Don't we do enough? So I think that needs a bit of a bit of a rethink too, Mr. Mayor. If I'm honest.
Like you see on Hoxton Park roads, 2 lanes for cars, and then another couple lanes for buses. So we want that happening, and we want it happening now. The third part that we're doing very importantly is we are installing Liberty swings and getting a report about where they need to go within the CBD, within the LGA. We're putting one now at a Liberty swing out in Watergrove, at Watergrove Lake. We already have one at McLeod Park. We're looking at doing it in Austral and one other location. So for those of you who don't know, a Liberty swing is if you're in a wheelchair, this allows you to go on to like a platform and it swings, so making sure that all of our parks are accessible for everybody so everybody can enjoy them. So thank you, everyone. It's been a long night. Hope you enjoyed. And if you wanted to, you can feel free to watch the council meeting, all 5 hours of it online.
I did watch it, Ned, and to be honest, there just seems to be a lot going on there that doesn't need to go on, if I'm completely honest. I think that really everyone needs to focus on getting the stuff done that needs to get done in there at the minute, It just seems that things go backwards and forwards all the time and nothing gets resolved. I mean, Anne's been going on about this stuff at Corrajong Road for a while. Like, you've got the money, you've got the top up. Why isn't the work getting done? Why is it taking so long? I don't get it. I mean, there seems to be other stuff there that you've got money for that you haven't. Now, look, I understand, and I think most residents understand that, we're all waiting for this stuff from Ron Honig, and we don't know which way it's going to go. We don't know half of what was discussed because a lot of it was in closed session. But we've got to get on with the business. And if getting on with the business is, what it is today in council chambers, well, nothing's going to get done because there's always this toing and froing. And to be honest, everyone's had enough of it. I think that we're all ready to move past it and let them say what they want to say. And, if there's anything that needs to be done, it needs to be done, and we just move on. But you don't want to waste these last few months until we know from Ron what's going on. So, I think there's a couple of things there is, just get on with the job. And secondly, Ron Honig, hurry up, get this done. We've got to move on with stuff here. We're behind. And, anything we can do to fix this 15th Avenue thing faster so that we can just start, getting it done is better for all of us. See you next week.